Ever since Rockstar has nerfed the Cayo Perico Heist, I've actually found it a lot of fun to go and try new ways to complete it. And in today's video, we're going to be doing it without killing a single guard on the entire island. Now, this won't be particularly easy, but it isn't the hardest method, so if you want to follow this for yourself, feel free to do so. And to make things harder, I made sure to have hard mode activated, which it was, and also that we had to get full loot bags and complete the elite challenge. So that was the goal for this video. I will be having a top 5 solo business guide coming out today or tomorrow, so make sure to look out for that on the channel. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So the setup for this heist is the Longfin as the approach vehicle. The entry point is the main dock. The compound entry point is the drainage tunnel. The weapons loadout is marksman, but that's just personal preference. I did this during daytime, and then the escape point does not matter whatsoever. So the first thing we have to do is head over to the airstrip, and we're going to go into the hangar where there's 2 loot locations. Wait for the guard to pass the doors, slip through here, and then we're going to get the first one that's down here at the bottom. Now, we were lucky enough that we got white stuff and cash. If you guys don't know, white stuff is the most valuable, but it does take up a lot of room in your bag, whereas cash is the second most valuable, I believe, but it doesn't take up much room. So there's ways to go about it to maximize everything, but really at the end of the day, it may change, a few tens of thousands, which isn't that much of a deal for me. What's more important is that we want to get the full loot bag, which we luckily were able to do here. So there's this spawn in this warehouse or in the hangar. The way to get to the second spawn is you're gonna have to go over here, get the forklift. We're then gonna drive it over to a pallet that has boxes on it, because we're going to need something to step up onto when we go get our secondary loot location. So all I got to do, pull it up. I don't know what I was doing here. Drive forward, get it attached, drive backwards, lift it all the way up on the forklift, and we are going to go press the boxes up against the fence right below those barrels. And so we're just going to go around the back of it, climb onto the forklift, climb onto the boxes, and then we're going to jump over this part here so that we could get the second loot location here in the hangar. Now, like I said, we were lucky enough to get everything we needed in here, but there is another location on this airstrip that I'm going to show you guys in a second that you could get. I actually got it on my other run, and you don't need to kill anybody to get into it either. It does make it trickier to not kill people that way. It's easier if you could take out the camera, take out the guard, but you can do it without killing anybody. So like I said, this is from another route that I took. All you got to do is hop onto that roof, jump down. All you have to do is wait for the guard and the camera to both be looking in the other direction. Jump down, grab all the loot that you need, and then heading out is a little trickier. Once again, you have to wait for the camera and the guard to move. So all I did was just hide here, waited it out. You can see on the mini map where they're pointing. It's mainly the camera that matters. And then once that is moved, jump over the wall and you're all done. And you should be able to get enough loot out of those 3 locations, the 2 in the hangar and then that 1 in the shed. Anyways, back to our heist. Make sure when you're leaving the hangar that guard has walked past the entryway, run through, and then we're going to go back to our boat. Now be careful, there is that 1 guard that's looking out at the water. Make sure you don't run into his cone of vision. And then we're going to dive underwater, put on our rebreathers with the left on the D-pad, and we're going to swim out to our boat so that we can head over to the drainage tunnel to enter the main compound. And we already have $486,000 in our loot bag, which is really good, so we are on the right track. And we have to keep in mind that we're going to take money from El Rubio's safe, and then we also have the primary target. And our primary target this time was tequila, which is usually $900,000, but because we had hard mode activated, we have a 10% buff on all of the loot. So it's actually $990,000, which is really nice. So now that we have arrived at the drainage tunnel, all I gotta do, hop into the water, swim over to it, and then we're gonna cut it with our cutting torch. Now, the usual method I use here is I just go over it 3 times, but the 3rd time I go slower. Makes it a lot easier for me. That way, for the most part, I get all of them clean cut on the very 3rd time, so I don't have to keep going over and over and over them. So we did that, we finished it off, and then we're gonna head into the compound, which is arguably the most important part because it is the one that's most affected by the most recent nerf. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. For those who have already watched my guide, you know our route. There are other routes which I may try in the future, but we're going to use the normal one for this run. And that's because I find it's the most simple one. I've seen other ones that are a little bit faster, but it requires more skill. This one, we're just running straight for the compound. So you make a left, you're going to run along that wall there so you don't get spotted, make another left, and then make a right, hop over the railing here, and then we are going to wait for this guard to go heading towards the gate. Like I said, we're not killing anybody, so we're going to have to just be stealth around these guys. You don't really have to run. Some people have said that they've been alerted by running, but I find running is okay. Just doesn't have to be full sprint all the time. Make sure you're doing it properly. Make sure you're taking your time. Here I almost messed up, but at this point we're just going to hide behind the wall. We're going to wait for this guard to walk down. He's going to walk past us, give us space, and then we're going to run up the stairs from there, head into El Rubio's office, steal the money from his safe, do the fingerprint hack, and then we're going to head into the basement to earn us the most amount of money from this heist. Now, while I do the heist, I do have a question for you guys. Do you guys think that Rockstar has ruined the heist by making this more realistic? And I think it's an interesting question because I think most games are headed in this direction where they're trying to make games more realistic. A lot of the sports games, for example, one being FIFA, are trying to make it more like real life. So do you prefer things being more realistic, which I personally prefer? I think it's cooler, makes you use your brain a little bit more, makes the game a little bit harder. Or would you prefer it be more like a game where not everything has to be that realistic? I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Anyways, we are done our fingerprint clone, and then we're going to head into the basement. Very simple part of this. Don't have to sneak around. Don't have to be quiet. We're going to run over, cut the bolts, and then we're going to get at the tequila. I've also found very small subtle detail, but if you go towards, for example, the chains to cut with your torch, and you're running and click the D-pad to start the animation, you usually glitch out. But if you walk towards it and then click to get the animation, you don't glitch out. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's something I've realized. I know it's a very small detail, but that could literally save you a few seconds if you're someone who really cares about that kind of stuff. Anyways, we got our tequila. Usually takes 5 tries at the plasma cutter, and now we're going to head out. And this part is pretty simple. The very ending is going to be the part that's going to be a little bit more difficult for trying to do this completely passive, not killing anybody. So we're going to walk down the stairs here, and you'll see that on the mini-map, the Juggernaut is down there, and then there's also going to be a guard who's walking next to him. As soon as they start heading down, that's when we're going to jump over the pole here. We land, and then we're going to run straight for the door. And this time we're going for full sprint because the other guard is not in front of the door, so we're running straight for it. And then as soon as we get there, click right on the D-pad, and we have escaped the compound. Now it's about escaping the island. Now, if you watched my other guide, you know that I actually go shoot the guard that's in front of the motorcycle, take the motorcycle, and drive it off. This time, we're going to have to do a method that is a lot slower, and I'll show you guys, but it does allow us to complete the Cayo Perico heist without killing a single soul. And so we are very close to the finish line here, so I know that we can do it. All you got to do is run along this road, follow the road. I had to double check just to see where the guards were and where we could get out. But follow the road, and then we're going to keep going straight ahead after this through the bushes and hop into the water. And yes, we are going to swim away from the island. This is going to take forever. I'm sure there's boats somewhere, but I decided to just swim away. Make sure you don't get in the vision of that guard on the left there in the minimap. But we decided to take a dip, go for a swim in, I assume this is an ocean. It must be an ocean, but what I will say is this part took forever. I grossly underestimated how ridiculous this was going to be. So first off, I actually did get a comment from someone saying that they were swimming off the island and it was taking too long, and then there was the helicopter ended up shooting them down. Just make sure that you go underwater, put on your rebreathers, and go really deep in the ocean. The deeper you go, it's highly unlikely that the helicopter is ever going to get to you. You just have to swim very far. So as you can see, we are very, very far away. This is currently 3x speed. So this took me like a solid minute just to swim. At a certain point, I thought, I don't know if this is glitched out, like what's going on here, but in the very end, we did complete it. Guys, we were able to do the heist with 0 kills whatsoever. I'm sure there was a way to get a vehicle to get off the island, but I wanted to make this a little bit harder on myself and have to swim and try to outpace the helicopter. So we completed the heist. We did everything that we wanted. We had 0 kills. We did the elite challenge. We did it on hard mode. We did it solo. We did everything that we wanted. So it was a great run. 6.6 was the potential. 1.35 was our actual take. And then, of course, we got the bonus because we did do the elite challenge. Only 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Not too bad. Maybe we could try for shorter in the future. Also, feel free to drop in the comment section down below challenges you want to see me try with the Cayo Perico Heist, because I'm actually having a lot of fun trying to do it in different ways on my own time and for videos. 1.45 million was our official take, our final take. A great way to end off the heist. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.